What's up, guys? I'm Harrison. This is Off the Cuff, and today I want to talk about the good things that we can bring out of the crazy year that we just had. If you're my age or younger, then this is or was probably the hardest or strangest year you've ever experienced. There was a sickness that was declared a global pandemic back in March. Racial tension and injustice was at the forefront of basically the world stage, and political tensions were higher than I ever remember them being in my lifetime, at least. But I hope that you are honestly able to say that you are now a stronger, wiser, more disciplined person than you were at the beginning of 2020. I hope that the hardships that came through 2020 were able to bring out that kind of maturity in us. If that's the case, the reason it was able to do that is because there's this idea of finding value in being exposed. If something in your life is exposed, it shows you something new about yourself or about your community or about our country that we're actually able to take advantage of and capitalize on. Now, I want to tell you guys about this on a small scale, and I also want to tell you about it on a large scale. So personally in my life, when everything started to shut down back in March, I found out that I was capable of a lot more anxiety than I thought I was. I thought that I was actually pretty good at putting my trust in the Lord and not having fear. But when all this stuff came up, I found out that I was actually pretty bad at those things. And if this stuff hadn't come up, then the little amount of trust that I had placed in the Lord last year would have stayed the same. But because it was exposed by things changing so drastically and in such a scary way, God was able to capitalize on it and develop a stronger sense of trust. And like I said, it wouldn't have happened if the hardship didn't come. There's this idea that God doesn't work things out for our good by making a bad thing good. He does it by being good in the midst of the bad thing. And a couple other ways that happened in my life is by having my ignorance and lack of knowledge toward race relations and racial tension and politics also exposed. And because those things were exposed, God was able to capitalize on that as well. He was able to spur my motivation in those directions. And so now I'm a little more educated in those areas. And what I'm trying to say is hardships can expose weaknesses so that they can actually become strengths of ours. So I'm hoping if you're thinking that you're stronger at the end of the year than you were at the beginning, it's because something that was actually a weakness of yours was exposed and then was made into a strength. Now that's the small scale. The examples from my personal life are small scale. God also did this on a grand scale when he sent Jesus to die for us. You see, when Jesus came, he claimed to be the light of the world. And what does light do? It exposes things. It exposes things that were once in the dark. And so Jesus allowed us to all see ourselves for who we really are. And who we really are people who are hopelessly far and removed from God. So Jesus decides to capitalize on this weakness, on this issue, by basically solving it for us. But if he didn't expose that weakness, then you and I wouldn't be able to be with God, because in our minds, we would be thinking that we're able to do it ourselves. But by Jesus being the light and exposing our weakness, he shows us that by our own work, by our own strength, we don't have any hope to get to God. So then he does it himself and brings us to the Lord. I just want to give you guys this idea, because when you're going through hard times, when things about yourself or your family or your community are being exposed that make you uncomfortable, trust in God, because he might actually turn that weakness into an eventual strength. And I want to leave you guys with a verse that you're probably familiar with. It's Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Paul wrote this verse when he was in prison, and this verse is coming from someone who has an attitude that recognizes that no situation is in vain. Whether good or bad, God is able to use any situation for his glory, and he's also able to use it to develop your character. And that's where contentment comes from. When we understand that the good, the bad is not wasted, then we're able to have contentment in the Lord, because we know that He's always progressing us, He's always progressing His people, and He is always good. So I hope this was able to encourage you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you have an amazing 2021, and I hope you stick around my channel. We got lots of off-the-cuff videos, lots of music coming your way. So thank you guys for your support. Thanks for watching, and God bless.